John Gardner once said, "Self-congratulation should be taken in small doses. It is habit-forming, and most human institutions are far gone in addiction." Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Christian Questions Talk Radio with your breakfast with Jonathan and Rick. The objective of our program is to discuss with you, our listeners, thought-provoking and meaningful topics based on the Bible. This is a call-in format. We are caller-friendly, and we look forward to hearing your point of view. And Jonathan, what are we talking about?
Well, Rick, our question this morning, is it intelligent design or evolution? And our theme text is found in Genesis chapter 1, verse 24. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures after their kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after their kind. And it was so."
And Jonathan, our discussion in the first hour was, I think, utterly fascinating. We have with us this morning Bob Gray, who is joining us for this very, 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 very interesting discussion. We talked about, first of all, what intelligent design is, and looked at it as, from the perspective of intelligent design, that the idea behind intelligent design simply is that from a scientific standpoint, forgetting Scripture for now, which is hard for me to do, but forgetting Scripture for now, from a scientific standpoint, there must be some intelligence behind what we see as being our world as it is.
And what you're saying is intelligent design is not creationism.
Right. Intelligent design is science. That's what it is.
Of itself.
Right. And it looks at things in the scientific world, and the theory of evolution says that it says scientifically man came through a series of chaotic, random events that had no rhyme, no reason, and no intelligence behind it. Intelligent design says, couldn't have happened that way. There has to have been something there that was greater in terms of design, putting things in perspective. So that's what we've talked about. We've talked about the concept of irreducible complexity, which I think is utterly fascinating. We talked about Darwin's black box. And the black box, from Darwin's perspective, was the things that he could not understand because it didn't have the technology to understand. And in the last 150 years, science has been able to begin to understand these things. And what they found out is there is a complexity that is so immense inside of these things that's where the concept of intelligent design was born. And it's interesting, it was born through science, not religion. So, folks, if you have a thought, give us a call at 442-6102. That's 860-442-6102.
Are we going to talk about scriptures at all?
Yes, we are, in a moment.
This is really tough.
In a moment. Bob, we were talking during the break about do you have that Carl Sagan thing?
I do.
Oh, get closer to that microphone there, brother.
All right.
Just because this adds to the perspective of what are the chances of all these things happening by sheer force and awkwardness?
You know, it's a very funny quote, actually. Carl Sagan is a person who was put on television a while back, maybe 20, 30 years ago, as a presenter of scientific information. He's noted as being an atheist, and he, along with Francis Crick, C-R-I-C-K, were attempting to build a case to do some investigation. They were seeking some government funding. And the interesting process they went through is, in order to come up with, and by the way, they're evolutionists. These are folks who believe in evolution. But they made this observation, in order to get the money from the government, that the process of evolving human beings by chance alone the probability was so intensely large that the number that they gave the government was at 10 to the minus 2 billionth. In other words, they thought it was virtually impossible that life could come about on Earth, as we know it, human life, by chance. And yet, these are people who don't believe in God, so they were looking for extraterrestrial beings. And now the government, through the SETI project, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, has spent millions of dollars on this subject, looking for something outside of what is in our environment, looking for something out there that's intelligent, that may have started life here on Earth. But certainly, they weren't looking for God.
And they weren't looking to base it on pure chance.
No, because it couldn't have happened. The chances would be 1 in 2 billionth.
10 to the 2 billionth.
10 to the 2 billionth.
10 with 2 billion zeros behind it. There's the probability. One in that many.
1 in 2 billion.
That is just, it's hard to fathom.
Rick, we do have a call. So welcome to Christian Questions. This is Jonathan and Rick. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, my name's Tristan.
Welcome to the program.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to put a little bit of the scientific perspective into this because I've been listening to your program for a while. I'm interested in the way you guys go over the vocabulary and everything. But I am, however, an agnostic and a scientist.
Okay.
All right. I just wanted to say the DNA thing you mentioned about it, 1 in a billion chance for error.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anyone with cancer?
Oh, sure.
That's what that's referring to. Cancer is a mutation of the DNA.
Okay.
That happens quite frequently. 1 in a billion is not such a big thing when you're talking about DNA. You have billions and billions of little segments in the DNA that will tell you like whether the thing will function properly or not. The other thing is with the gametes, the sexual cells that are referred to when you're talking about evolution, you have pretty much one copy, and that is destroyed by ultraviolet radiation from the sun during your life. And as this happens, like it's been seen that periods of macroevolution have occurred with the sun or the Earth's atmosphere being either being less protective or the sun being more powerful. So it is. We do have a lot of scientific evidence behind our ideas for evolution.
So when you're talking, you're talking about macroevolution versus micro.
Yeah.
Okay. And just in when you say there's a lot of evidence for that, where is the evidence for that? That's always one of the things we're going to get into in this hour. So now that you brought it up, why don't we just take a look at it?
Well, there's this idea of punctuated equilibrium started by Velikovsky in the late 19th century, where you have periods of macroevolution coinciding with greater amounts of stress to the organisms that are affected by it.
Okay.
And we believe it is, as scientists, it's the body of the organism's natural response to stress on its population to change the way it is. I mean, you can see that the microevolution, there's thousands and thousands of examples. The macroevolution is harder to find because it happens over, hundreds of thousands of years.
Well, and the interesting thing about macroevolution is there is no fossil record of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with fossils is it's a astronomically small, portion of the amount of organisms that were initially there that become fossilized. And that's what we believe. And the other thing is, with the theory of punctuated equilibrium, we have evolution happening very quickly over a period of intense stress, like the coming of ice ages, the cataclysm of a meteor striking the Earth. I mean, things like that would cause organisms to change.